How is he dressed, and what kind of weapon does he have? He doesn't have any kind of weapon. The imps said. He is bareheaded, wears a red robe with a yellow sash, and has a pair of black boots on. He looks like neither a monk nor a layman, neither a Taoist nor an immortal. He is out there making demands with naked hands and empty fists. When the monstrous king heard this, he ordered, "Get me my armor and my weapon." These were immediately brought out by the imps, and the monstrous king put on his breastplate and helmet, grasped his scimitar, and walked out of the cave with his followers. "Who is the lord of the water curtain cave?" he cried with a loud voice. Quickly opening wide his eyes to take a look, Wukong saw that the monstrous king wore on his head a black gold helmet, which gleamed in the sun, and on his body a dark silk robe, which swayed in the wind. Lower he had on a black iron vest, tied tightly with leather straps. His feet were shod in finely carved boots, grand as those of warriors great, 10 spans the width of his waist, 30 feet the height of his frame. He held in his hands a sword. Its blade was fine and bright. His name, the Monster of Havoc, of most fearsome form and look. "You have such big eyes, reckless monster, but you can't even see Old Monkey," the Monkey King shouted. When the monstrous king saw him, he laughed and said, "You're not 4 feet tall, nor are you 30 years old. You don't even have weapons in your hands. How dare you be so insolent, looking for me to settle accounts? You reckless monster!" cried Wukong. "You are blind indeed. You think I'm small, not knowing that it's hardly difficult for me to become taller. You think I'm without weapon, but my 2 hands can drag the moon down from the edge of heaven. Don't be afraid. Just have a taste of Old Monkey's fist." He leapt into the air and aimed a blow smack at the monster's face. Parrying the blow with his hand, the monstrous king said, "You are such a midget and I'm so tall. You want to use your fist, but I have my scimitar. If I were to kill you with it, I would be a laughingstock. Let me put down my scimitar, and we'll see how well you can box." "Well said, fine fellow," replied Wukong. "Come on." The monstrous king shifted his position and struck out. Wukong closed in on him, hurtling himself into the engagement. The two of them pummeled and kicked, struggling and colliding with each other. It is easy to miss on a long reach, but a short punch is firm and reliable. Wukong jabbed the monstrous king in the short ribs, hit him on his chest, and gave him such heavy punishment with a few sharp blows that the monster stepped aside, picked up his huge scimitar, aimed it straight at Wukong's head, and slashed at him. Wukong dodged, and the blow narrowly missed him. Seeing that his opponent was growing fiercer, Wukong now used the method called the body beyond the body. Plucking a handful of hairs from his own body and throwing them into his mouth, he chewed them to tiny pieces and then spat them into the air. "Change!" he cried, and they changed at once into 200 or 300 little monkeys encircling the combatants on all sides. For you see, when someone acquires the body of an immortal, he can project his spirit, change his form, and perform all kinds of wonders. Since the Monkey King had become accomplished in the way, every one of the 84,000 hairs on his body could change into whatever shape or substance he desired. The little monkeys he had just created were so keen of eye and so swift of movement that they could be wounded by neither sword nor spear. Look at them. Skipping and jumping, they rushed at the monstrous king and surrounded him, some hugging, some pulling, some crawling in between his legs, some tugging at his feet. They kicked and punched. They yanked at his hair and poked at his eyes. They pinched his nose and tried to sweep him completely off his feet, until they tangled themselves into confusion. Meanwhile, Wukong succeeded in snatching the scimitar, pushed through the throng of little monkeys, and brought the scimitar down squarely onto the monster's skull, cleaving it in two. He and the rest of the monkeys then fought their way into the cave and slaughtered all the imps, young and old. With a shake, he collected his hair back onto his body, but there were some monkeys that did not return to him. They were the little monkeys kidnapped by the monstrous king from the water curtain cave. "Why are you here?" asked Wukong. The 30 or 50 of them all said tearfully. "After the great king went away to seek the way of immortality, the monster menaced us for 2 whole years and finally carried us off to this place. Don't these utensils belong to our cave? These stone pots and bowls were all taken by the creature. If these are our belongings," said Wukong, "move them out of here." He then set fire to the water belly cave and reduced it to ashes. "All of you," he said to them, "follow me home." "Great king," the monkeys said, "when we came here, all we felt was wind rushing past us, and we seemed to float through the air until we arrived here. We don't know the way. How can we go back to our home?" Wukong said, "That's a magic trick of his. But there's no difficulty. Now I know not only one thing but 100. I'm familiar with that trick too. Close your eyes, all of you, and don't be afraid. Dear Monkey King." He recited a spell, rode for a while on a fierce wind, and then lowered the direction of the cloud. "Little ones," he cried, "open your eyes." The monkeys felt solid ground beneath their feet and recognized their home territory. In great delight, every one of them ran back to the cave along the familiar roads and crowded in together with those waiting in the cave. They then lined up according to age and rank and paid tribute to the Monkey King. Wine and fruits were laid out for the welcome banquet. When asked how he had subdued the monster and rescued the young ones, Wukong presented a detailed rehearsal, and the monkeys broke into unending applause. "Where did you go, great king?" they cried. "We never expected that you would acquire such skills. The year I left you all," Wukong said, "I drifted with the waves across the great Eastern Ocean and reached the west of Paragadinia continent. I then arrived at the South Jambudvipa continent, where I learned human ways, wearing this garment and these shoes. I swaggered along with the clouds for 8 or 9 years, but I had yet to learn the great art. I then crossed the great Western Ocean and reached the west of Paragadinia continent. After searching for a long time, I had the good fortune to discover an old patriarch, who imparted to me the formula for enjoying the same age as heaven, the secret of immortality. Such luck is hard to meet even after 10,000 afflictions." The monkeys said, all congratulating him. "Little ones," Wukong said, laughing again. "Another delight is that our entire family now has a name." "What is the name of the great king?" "My surname is Sun," replied Wukong. "And my religious name is Wukong." When the monkeys heard this, they all clapped their hands and shouted happily. "If the great king is elder son, then we are all junior sons, sons the third, small sons, tiny sons, the Sun family, the Sun nation, and the Sun cave." So they all came and honored Elder Sun with large and small bowls of coconut and grape wine, of divine flowers and fruits. It was indeed one big happy family. Lo! The surname is one, the self's returned to its source. This glory awaits a name recorded in heaven. We do not know what the result was and how Wukong would fare in this realm. Let's listen to the explanation in the next chapter.